All right, Jedi traders, it is January 4th here. No setups yet, except we just had one on the 50-35 here. You could see, there it is. All 6 bars lining up to the downside for a scalp if you're going off the short time frame. Together with the volume here, setting up right at the market open, volume to the downside on the red bars with volume on the Cume bars, volume also headed down. All right, a little bounce back here on the Cume Delta bars. Looking for price action to continue downside. Would like to see a move to the short side with all 6 bars in sync. Moving average closing below the VWAP. Coming close here. Again, yesterday's setup, as we saw, it took a while in the morning session and finally popped upside, so it's just about patience of when that's going to happen. Long indecision candle on the 50-35 here as market action holding up here at the Globex low. We have economic data out here this morning. ISM, top of the hour with jolts. Again, biggest volume here in the AM session. Typically in the first 30 minutes. Here we go. Trending bar underneath the Globex low. Again, no sign of all 6 bars. The only move you have here is on the 50-35. So if you're going to trend down on the smaller time frame, go for it. I'm waiting for the setup on the 100 tick chart. Till that comes on, no trade for me. All right, 51.44 is in the red. Volume is still remaining downside. We're getting a move on the 50-35. Again, we would prefer the money flow to be in the direction of trend. But let's see. Maybe we'll go for it here on the breakout of the breakdown below underneath the Globex low. If we at least can get a trending bar and a decent pullback here on the 50-35 would be nice to come back down. Cume Delta bars back upside into the green here as red bars downside. All right, no setup yet. All right, so price action not exactly bouncing back up. 50-35 gets a nice bounce to the VWAP. What would we like to see? We would like to see this come back down. 2 bars, price above the T3. T3 slope is up. We'd like to see price action follow back down south. If this trend's going to continue, we would see the follow through on the volume. Right now we're not yet there. And we would see the larger time frame break below the Globex low on most likely a trending candle. I don't believe we'll have the money flow there for the 100 Flex Renko, but that's all right. 5 or 6 bars. At least 5 bars would be our first hope. All right, we wait. All right, here we go. We got volume coming back down. 50-35, trending back down, looking for all red bars. Refresh of the charts, make sure everything's in sync. Moving average VWAP struggling here on the higher time frame. Going back and forth, about to cross over here. And doesn't look like we're going to have a move here yet. Not yet. We got numbers coming out here in 19 minutes. But that shouldn't stop market from making a move. Interesting how yesterday they really waited. Well, out of the gun, out of the gate. First move was to the downside, then a complete stall. And then deciding to make the next move in the afternoon session. All right, no move to the downside yet. All right, 50-35 leaking back down here. Big time frame coming down. Get that moving average under the way. All right, so option again is to jump on the 50-35 with volume downside. There's the entry. I would wait for the volume bar to close here. Not yet there. I would wait for the volume bar to close. That might mean another bar. Yep, see, you're already sitting in a pullback here. Price action is holding up here at the Globex low. We definitely do not have at least 5 bars to the downside. Moving average, VWAP is really strange here. I don't know what's going on with VWAP. We're holding here. Price action will not break down. All right, so there you go. You got the signal back in on the 50-35, lower time frame, but no follow through on the volume. You see solid bar. Well, I should say there's no move here because volume didn't follow through like these trending bars with the purple pink color inside. That's what we're looking for. That's an indicator that the trend was by the parameters set by the candle. So we got a red, and money flow is kind of flat here, but cum delta bars gas on to the downside was working. Nice job, but didn't move far enough, at least on this part here. All right, seems like somebody's just holding the line here, and it's not ready to give. All right, here we go. Volume coming back down again. No setup on the there's no setup on the high time frame. So really a question of, you got a lot of consolidation here, sideways price action. 50-35, there we go. We got the same signal that we had before. So again, the choice to take the move on the lower time frame is yours. I'm going to wait for the high time frame, as that is my setup. All right, that's my setup. I'm waiting for the high time frame to show the setup. If I want to wait, I can wait for a pullback or at least a pause on the smaller time frame to enter on the longer time frame, or I could simply just jump in. I got 6 bars, I'm in, and I'm going for at least a 50 tick move, which has a pretty good probability. Yeah, sometimes it misses just about it. I mean, if you get to 40 ticks and you really want to save your trade and not make it turn it into a loss, you can always bring your stop to break even +1, cover your commission, and see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, you didn't lose. Sometimes on higher time frames, you're going to deal with a little bit deeper pullback, but that's with a high percentage rate that we've been following, the likelihood of the follow through will be there. It will be there. Now, if it's not going in the direction we had hoped, then you bail. You bail, or take an early bail on the lower time frame. You take an earlier bail on the lower time frame, and then so now you're not deep in a loss. And if the trend is truly there, you'll be able to get back in and cover that loss. Maybe it takes 2 trades to do that, but at least you won't be too deep in the hole. All right, no move yet. We still are waiting. All right, number coming out here in 5 minutes. There we go. Looking for a trending candle. Again, hesitant here as the moving average. I think this is going to work out. There we go. We're getting 5 bars. We got at least 5 bars. Money flow is not there yet. 50-35. Volume is nice and deep here. All right, pulling down here. 50-35 is already moved. We got 5 bars. There goes money flow flat. Money flow is almost in sync. All right, maybe you're on the trade already on this. I'm waiting for this candle to close here. I got the volume following through. ES is pulling back slightly. Here we go. Ready to hit the sell button here. All right, volume is following through. All in the red, all in the red. All right, we're in, guys. All right, where are we going to place the stop? Well, we're not going to let it run up all the way. We're going to bring it to the swing position up high. Expect the deeper pullback here. I expect it. Being on a higher time frame. All right, so let's see this follow through, hopefully. Volume coming down. We could run this all the way down to the daily pivot. Candle will definitely close at 16,441. And if this is a reversal candle, we're looking at 4 $4.99. So where could we bail? Well, there's two places we could bail. Number one, if it closes at $4.76 up here, we would take the bail because that's a reversal candle. All right, so we'll keep our eye there. Keep our finger on the flatten button if price action does not follow through all the way down. All right, we at least got 5 bars in sync. We could have waited for money flow to be in the direction. I think we would have been too close to the pivot to at least take that entry. All right, so again, we don't want it to, we could keep the stop here, but we don't, we could just keep an eye on it, make sure if it does get up to 476, we'll take the, we'll bail and then wait for a re-entry back to the downside. All right, market notorious for getting a nice big move there and then pulling back a little bit. All right, you can see volume is holding up here. A little bit of pullback here on the Cum Delta bars. Now we got a number coming out here in 7 minutes. Let's see, market action still pulling down here. All right, now we're at least 6 bars here. You can see the money flow is also turning downside. So I believe the momentum is there. I don't know how deep the pullback will be. I don't want to risk too much. I don't want to risk a move all the way back up to VWAP to only come back down. So I would have to bail, take the loss, and wait for the setup again. But I believe we'll be able to pull at least 50 ticks. If not, you can at least move your order up to 441.50 and almost be assured that you're going to get the trade. So you can move your stop right there, and as long as this bar closes right there, you got your trade. It's a for sure thing. All right, so we're on a live trade. If this was a sim trade, we'd have the word sim right here. This is a live trade, real money on the line. Again, this is trading the micros, so your risk is not as deep as it would be like on other contracts. All right, so volume is coming down here. Volume on the mid chart we could see coming down. This bar, which is trending, will close here at 441.50. That is that's not a guarantee, but if the trend is there, it will close there. It will close at 441.50 if this trend continues and holds on. Otherwise, it's going to reverse and close up here at 499. All right, so if we get to 68.75, we have the option of bailing on the trade. Thought it was going to come down. So yeah, we were already in the trade. Now you could have brought your stop to break even +1 once it got down here. You could have done that. That would have been an option. And then you would have just walked away with just 1 tick. All right, we came pretty close to 68.75 here. I'm not saying the bar's not there yet. Cum Delta bars are still downside. Market action getting a little rough now here. 5 minutes to the data coming out. All right, so a trade that was in the green, you hopefully don't take a loss here, right? You don't want a loss, but we want to minimize our loss. So 68.75 would be our bail point, and then we'll wait for another move to see if we can get back in. Hopefully the trend will continue down here as we are 6 bars in the red here. Now, I believe the momentum will stay down, but we might get a pullback. All right, still waiting for the move to come down. We got 6 bars. We got 6 bars in the red here. We are 6 bars in the red. We definitely don't want this bar to come all the way back up to 499. That will be a little bit too far back. And we are not connected. Whoa, 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 whoa. What did I do? Sorry about that. Nothing like being in a trade and disconnecting. I hit the wrong button and shoot, we are out. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna hang on here. I would have been if I I can't believe I did that. I disconnected from my data feed, and it would have hit that. It would have hit that bar there. So I guess I'm still in the. I guess I'm still in the trade. All right. Can't believe that. I hit control. I hit a short key that put the that disconnected my data feed. Okay, it's really rare, guys. It's really rare that a trade will go against us, especially when we have a setup of 6 bars in the red here. It just does. It doesn't. It's just a matter of how deep we want to sit in a pullback here. And obviously, we don't want to sit too deep. We don't want to go 100, 200 ticks back to only make about 50 ticks. So that's why we would take an early bail. Again, the option is there. It doesn't mean you have to. And I surely don't want to run it up all the way to VWAP. All right, patience here. We got a number coming out in 2 minutes. Not the best of times to be in a trade. All right, hopefully we'll get out of this trade and get some green ticks here. See money volume still coming back down. So again, the probability of coming down here is a lot greater than coming all the way back up to 499. But price action could. It could come all the way back up here to 499. So again, the option to bail on a trade on a larger time frame is always there. You can always, especially if you get a T3 slope change. All right, all we had was price action closing above the moving average. I think that is always an option, but it's your call. If I get 2 white bars here, definitely I would probably take the bail. Because we definitely have then slowed down the trend to the downside. And I don't want to sit on a huge candle to the upside. All right, so the probability of this working out based on our stats, we got a pretty good, at least above 90% and above probability that we will be able to close this trade out at about 640, at least where this bar should close if it continues downside in trend. All right, finger on the flatten button in case number goes, price action goes the other direction. And here we go. Numbers coming out. There we go. Numbers out. Finger on the flatten button in case we pop up. Again, not the best time to be in a trade. And man, price action does not want to come down. There we go. There we go. Come on down. Come on down. There we go. Volume is coming back down. Volume's coming back down. We're back at break even. There we go. There we go. Volume down. Volume down. And we're out. All right, so minus a couple ticks. We bailed at 40 ticks. The goal was 50 ticks. We would have made that. And the bar coming down here to probably the daily pivot here. All right, so one of the reasons not bailing on this one were 2. Number 1, trader error. I disconnected my data feed. Good job. 2 is the slope was still down. The only thing that closed above was the price above the T3 moving average. Okay, that's fine. If I had 2 bars, T3 slope was also in the white, then I probably would have taken the bail because then I would have gotten, a couple more bars like this here. And I don't know that it's not going to run back up. All right, so you can see this nice bar. This indicator here showing where the bar is going to close allows you to place that trade or at least that exit where you want it. Again, this is a scalp entry, so now based on our setup, we could see what? We could see the fact that, let's go, let's put our vertical line. Where's my vertical line? Oh, man. There it is, Control 4. So Control function, Control F11 disconnects your data feed. So that's what I hit. I was trying to hit function F11, and I hit Control F11. So good thing I had to stop and play. As we can see, this is an opportunity to keep a trail on if you're not scalping it and moving your stop. All right, so what do we do? What do we wait for? We wait for price action now to pull back on the 50-35, and then if it comes back down, we would then take we would slice into the bigger trend. Okay, an option to either scalp this as much as you want. I went a little bit short of 50 ticks today to show you how you can use that. It's not the study is called a Renko bar predictor, but really what it's telling you is where is this bar going to close, and that's where you could place that stop. All right, so traders getting back in and getting their ticks back. Awesome, nice job. And we're holding up here at the 5 EMA. All right, so that is setup number 1 for today. We got ourselves 40 ticks. Now, if you were multiple contracts here, obviously more ticks in your bank. If you were on the minis, obviously a lot more. Either way, it's just recognizing the setup. Setup number 1, we got in. We actually the money flow ended up being in the red here, even though we got in just on 5 red bars. All right, let's take a look at the other indices. Again, ES pulling back. Crude is on the upside. NQ to the overbought. To the upside. Major support resistance. There it is. Talked about that. If we break the pivot, there we are. Support at the major support resistance. Nice. 5 EMA. All right. When you line it all up and everything's in the red, that's how it plays out. All right. We'll see if there's another setup here in a little bit. All right. So while we decided to scalp this move and simply get in and out, we could, again, show the order fill. We simply scalped in and took a little bit off. There's nothing wrong with that. No one's going to judge anybody for taking a scalp move. The goal would be to be able to progress to price action that you were able to sit on this. And that is obviously the ultimate goal as we work with one another to get to that point. All right. What we're waiting for here, again, this is my own decision here. These indecision candles could be opportunities to move back in. What I'm looking for is a little bit of a deeper pullback like this here, where we have 2 changes in the trend where price goes back above the T3 and the T3 slope is also changed, and then we come back down. All right, that's obviously we tested here the 5144 cloud and price action reversed. Obviously, we could see a very strong trend here. Again, nothing that's showing up on my trading plan to enter in this. Yeah, it's moving down. That's fine. It's running without me. I'll wait for another setup. But again, the opportunity to sit on a runner on this is there. The option that once price action runs a certain amount of ticks to move your stop to break even, you could trail it down on the smaller time frame. And obviously, and down the road, we'll continue to show how that can be done. First, right now, is just getting down the scalp. Get in, get out on a recognized setup. Then we'll progress to understanding how you actually run that. All right, so right now, no pullback. Once we get a pullback, my sense here is I would be a little bit concerned as the fact that we've already made this huge run. We might get the pullback. The question is how much chop do we get down here? Is the momentum still truly there? Capturing the move at the beginning is the ideal versus trying to get on a runaway train. 10 EMA looks good. MML support looks good down here. Yesterday's look, Yesterday's low looks good. Those are all levels to watch as price action comes down. All right, let's see if we get a pullback. All right, so we are now obviously at a pause here as we work price action down. Now, again, this bar, this 170 flex Renko, 170 tick flex Renko chart has an option. It can close up here at 416.75 or it can close down here at 359. I would prefer for it to close at 359. That would be a much nicer continuation of momentum and trend. So I looked at my volume chart. Obviously, volume is coming back upside. We want it to trend back downside, so we'll wait for that. But what we're seeing on the smaller time frame is exactly what we would prefer. We would prefer a pullback. Now, this bar here, this indecision bar now that's forming, again, it will either close up here at 97.75 or it will continue and trend down to 68.75. If we get two bars here in the green, if you were on the move all the way down, all right, this would be a terrific place to bail by placing your stop right above 397.75 and taking this whole move that came down and just calling it a trade. I'm not saying you're going to get maximum points out of it. I'm just saying that's a solid, decent trade, and that's where you would exit. All right, that would be an optional. Or you could keep your stop right here at the top of this indecision bar, which is pretty much the same. You can keep it 2 indecision bars back. But again, what if price action runs all the way up here? You at least would have gotten a couple more ticks out of this. All right. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for, we prefer that we get 2 white bars here. That doesn't mean we're going to get them. At least we got a deeper pullback than just 1 indecision bar. We could see volume coming back down. We could see that we're still in trend here. All right, so 51.44 coming back down. And then the question becomes, do you really want to jump in at this point? Maybe we're going to get a bunch of chop. We don't know that. All right. But at least I could see that momentum is clearly strong to the downside. I could see that volume is downside. So we'll wait to see if the bars here will continue south on a trending bar and for a possible re-entry to what we're hoping for is at least a 10 EMA or MML support here. All right, so we're here with 3 minutes to go post 1 hour. This is typically where I would recommend that you make the majority of your trades. You have the next 1 hour till European markets close, and then you have the 30-minute run up to lunch. We tend to see 2 significant moves within that time period. Whether we run it all the way back up in this situation or we come back down, that's to be seen. Now, some days where we have crude reports or we have natural gas coming out or there's something at the bottom of the hour, that tends to move the market as well. So this is a tough call. Whether you want to re-enter here because 50.35 is going to show us a move back downside in trend. We definitely want to watch the volume to make sure it follows through with some strength there, as we can see it is right now. I wouldn't bet to the upside right now until I saw some change in momentum. Really, all that I see on my charts, I came today with no bias. I had no idea which direction we were going. I saw the momentum building up to the downside. We were patient. We waited. We saw the move. Option to scalp. Option to move a runner. It's all up to you. There's different trading management studies that you could set up that allow you to do that. It's just knowing where to bail when price action appears to not moving in the momentum that you want it to move. And that was what I was talking about up here on this move as I disconnected my service. Is that we could have bailed here. That would be unfortunate as trend was showing significant momentum downside. But again, we're watching to see the slope really wasn't changing. So there really was no reason to bail yet. As we can see here, this would have been a point to bail. If this setup occurred all the way back up where we took the entry, I wouldn't want to sit on this. This would be a point to bail. So obviously we see the market's not ready to come back down anymore. Maybe this is the bottom of the session. For all we know, maybe we'll come back down and get that MML support. That might happen in the next hour and a half. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we got our trade. We wait for the next setup. And that's how we call it each day and every single setup. So I hope you guys got something out of at least this first hour of market action. And just be patient. The next move will come. Until the next trade.